Liverpool's new possession structure is causing defensive instability, and here's why. The key reason is this shift to relationism within the midfield structure. Last year, it was more about positional rotation. So you had Gravenberch as the sitter for most of the time, and you had McAllister and Szoboszlai in their particular zones, a sort of left-sided 8 and left-sided 8/10. And what these players would do to give a bit of fluidity to the midfield was rotate positions, but they knew each other's defensive responsibilities and offensive responsibilities and pressing responsibilities. And if they did go into the other player's zone, then that other person took on that player's responsibility when they've shifted. This year, because of Florian Wirtz, it's a lot different. Now, in terms of relationism, why do we call it relationism? So it's where Florian Wirtz goes, that affects where the rest of the midfield is. And because Florian Wirtz needs players in close proximity, interchanging, you sometimes have, say, Florian Wirtz drifting out to the left and Szoboszlai's right next to him. That's left a big gaping hole now in the middle of the pitch, or the right side of the pitch. Likewise, if sometimes Florian Wirtz drifts out to the right to link up with Salah, Szoboszlai might be in close proximity to him, or he might be told to go the complete opposite side. So where Wirtz is on the pitch, it affects where the rest of the players are, and it's leading to a lot of lopsided midfield play, which leads to a lot of fluidity and great one-touch play. And you're seeing Liverpool looking more fluid than ever on the ball, but off the ball, it's like players are way out of position at times. And suddenly, once they've lost that ball, there's this big panic as to how we're going to get back into our defensive structure. And especially if Gravenberch is out, you don't really have a natural sitter there, because let's just say Szoboszlai's gone close to Florian Wirtz. McAllister's now being asked to cover large acres of ground. And likewise, even if Szoboszlai was asked to do that large acres of ground, he's not really going to have that natural sort of number 6 mindset of spatial awareness from a defensive point of view. So it's led to a loss of control and instability. So you've got fluidity, but you've got defensive instability, and that's something that Arne Slot needs to work on if this new possession structure is going to work out in the long term. The other thing to quickly factor in is that Frimpong is playing more vertical, overlapping Mo Salah, which now means that, for example, Trent used to go into the midfield, and that was an extra body in midfield which would help congest that play. So if he's out of the action, out on the wide areas in an attacking sense, that means you've got less midfield protection for the number 6. Let me know your thoughts on Liverpool's new possession structure. Will Arne Slot eventually get it right, or could this potentially derail their title hopes?